So, Emmitt, I don't mean to ignore you, but Trey, what's the preseason been like? When did you know you could play? What kind of shape were you in? All those kind of things.
Well, preseason has been a journey, to say the least. Obviously, we had a little injury come out of left field, so I just kind of had to do things day by day. I spent a lot of time with Sean Brown. He did an excellent job keeping me in decent shape as much as he could. I couldn't do much with the lower body. I was in there every day with the upper body, trying to get in shape that way. But Doc has actually done an excellent job of helping me get back on time and actually a little bit ahead of time. But as far as like me coming back, is kind of like a game time thing, taking things day by day, because with the injury, don't really know how quickly it'll heal.
When did you actually start practicing?
I mean, I actually haven't even been through a full practice yet. I was, yesterday was probably my first actual legit. I was in there from the start to finish. But before that, I was in there for bits and pieces. But yesterday, I felt good being able to go the whole time with the guys. So, yeah.
So, Emmitt, for you, trying to incorporate somebody who's not practiced too much, I mean, he looked pretty comfortable, but is that difficult?
He's a hooper. This is not a regular basketball player. This is a hooper, okay? So I think the one thing about him is, me personally, I think you could just throw him anywhere on the floor. I have yet to see somebody with a good back to the basket game at 6'8" like his. He can shoot the ball, obviously, as you guys saw today. He was really all over the place on offense. Wherever you just put him, he'll just, do his job. And, so as for, me just being comfortable with him out there, it's honestly just like having another version of myself. I mean, his back to the basket game way better than mine, but, I mean, he adds a lot of dimensions to our game. He opens things up for us. We can throw a lineup out there that's taller. He can slide down to the 5 if we wanted to go smaller, put me at the 4. We can do a bunch of different things with him on the floor. So, I think just taking it one day at a time and, keeping him, in the loop, keeping him game ready, keeping him in game shape, that's going to be a start. And, I'm excited to see what our team looks like when he looked good today, but I know there's a lot more in the tank.
Jimmy and Mo and James doing a really good job. Seems like keeping the ball alive. If they can't rebound it, they're tipping it, they're keeping it alive. Do you all play off of that some? I mean, I know you're doing that too, but watching that, getting that, and saying, hey, here's a chance to get more rebounds because we know they're going to get a hand on it?
It's kind of more of just like a pursue the ball type mentality. So if they don't get it, then one of us has to get it. It's kind of more that thought process.
Yeah, I'd say, just having them down there, those are some big bodies. They tip the ball, they keep it alive. I try to do the same thing. I think we all try to do the same thing, but like Trey said, it's a react to the ball thing. When you see a ball, loose ball, rebound, whatever it is, you do whatever it takes to get to the ball. If you don't, obviously you'll get taken out of the game. That's something that, it's, we play hard here. All those things count. That one time you don't jump up to tip the ball could be, something that changes shifts the game completely and you end up losing. So, I think just not just them, but even you got guys like JoJo Bean, Josiah, he's out there doing the same thing, but kudos to the bigs for going out there and doing that because, without them doing that, I don't know how many rebounds we have without them, but, it's important for them to be down there, keeping them active. I think we need to get them some more touches down low, just getting them more comfortable. Obviously, they're not young, but just they don't have that experience of just getting the ball all the time down in that block in an offensive role. And obviously, if you've watched us over the past couple of years or just since my time, having guys like Derek Culver, we had Oscar, we had guys we throw the ball to down there, and, they had to score the ball. So we just got to find a way to keep them in the game and keep them going. I know Jimmy might be a little upset with how he's been playing, but, we've seen Jimmy have some of the best days ever, and he's been phenomenal. And, I think just for me as a leader and, for all of us as, to lead the team, these are guys that we're going to need to win big games because if we don't have them, it's going to be too hard.
And what's the difference between the club you left 2 years ago and what you got here now?
Deuce got drafted. Oscar transferred. No, college basketball is it changes every year. Every school changes. You always got new faces. Every year I've been here, there's always been a bunch of new faces. I think the one thing that has changed is just our culture, and, obviously tonight just wasn't the type of game that we wanted to play, even though we won. We wish we would have won by more of a margin, but, just when it comes down to it, we're close. I've said that before. We all love each other. We hang out all the time. And, it's only a matter of time until that, reflects on the floor. And once that reflects on the basketball floor, I don't think there's going to be any team in the country that could really stop us. I think that we have the ability to score from all levels. I think we have guys that can do a little bit of everything on the floor. We got guys that are good at one thing, and, So, you go down and you look at, James gets in the game today, and he was an animal, and I'm super proud of him for what he did today. And, I get on him every day because I know how good he can be. And, so just – I think the first time here, I don't think we've ever had a team that was dysfunctional, but just having teams where, you might butt heads a little bit of egos here and there, and that's just the name of the game. That's basketball. That's how it goes. But this year, I think there's no egos. We all love each other. I'm honestly excited every day to get up and work with this team because how good we can be.
Emmitt, if I can keep that going a little bit, look back, when you played with two bigs before, two really good players, I understand that, but the way you can kind of go with two bigs this year, seems like it's very different as far as the players and what they can do. I don't know if you've done it enough where you can compare it, but you're probably the one person who could do the then now comparison there.
I don't really want to compare that. You got two different bigs that year, and you got two completely different bigs this year. You bring in a McDonald All-American and a preseason first team, all Big 12 guy, and this year we got a bunch of new guys coming in. So this isn't. I don't want to play the comparing game. I think, this team here with our bigs, it's just a matter of time until they get comfortable. And, as I said, once that happens, and, I've already said Jimmy is a monster down there. And I've seen Jimmy score 15 times straight on the block. So, once that all clicks up there and he just starts taking his time and just letting things develop, he's lost a bunch of weight, and kudos to him for that. So, he might just be working on just trying to stay balanced and all that down there. But I'm not really worried about the bigs. I think it's going to happen soon, and when it does happen, it's going to be scary.
And obviously, the last few minutes of the game, both teams kind of started throwing their buckets and stuff like that. But I think it was like midway through the second half, so it's like basically 30 minutes. They've got 30 points, and so obviously you guys are probably liking what you guys had done defensively at that point. I'm just kind of wondering if you can kind of take me. What you guys did defensively tonight, were you happy with it? Was it the kind of defense that this team can, wants to play consistently through the year?
I think the second half was more of a transition game. If you look at it, they scored 18 in the first half, 40 in the second. That's not good enough on our end. We scored 30 in the first half. We scored 46 in the second half, so that's good on our end. But obviously the defense is something we need to limit. When you got a guy that pump fakes a guy and he jumps and then takes a one-dribble pull-up and he's like 5'10" and he shoots it over me. I'm 6'7" and he shoots it and makes it off the glass. It's like, there's just things you can't control. And when a guy gets hot, But I think overall as a team, we definitely need to work on, we can't go from giving up 18 to giving up 40. That's how you lose games, and we don't want to lose games. So I think just our communication's a big part, looking at our rotations, going over those in practice, and, seeing different ways we can basically manipulate the offense into turning the ball over is a way that we'll be able to, keep that second half number down. And I think we'll be good. I think we'll be fine. It'll just take a little bit of film, and we'll be right where we want to be.
And you said you get on James during practice. You see the potential there. What is it with him that makes you think that, he's got that potential?
He can block shots.
Right.
His ability to time the ball, time the offense's release point, and I don't want to say he's like Sags.
Right.
I don't want to say that. Don't try to get that out of me. But he's young. He's young. Same neighborhood. He's young, though. He's really young. I think he's 19 right now, and I was watching Sags do what he was doing at 22. So, when you got 3 years over time from now, James can be just like that, and James can protect the basket. I shot a right-handed hook one day, and he jumped up, and his head was at the rim, and he grabbed it. And I was like, it is what it is. But he's definitely on his way.
Trey, how close to game shape are you in? How long will it take, do you think?
I don't think I have an answer for that, honestly, because game shape can really only be done in a game. That you can ask probably any hooper. They'll probably tell you the same, regardless of what you do off the court. When you're on the court, it's just because it's different paces, different spurts, different sprints. So I think it'll just come with time. I'm not far though. Nowhere near where I thought I'd be.
During the last 2 off seasons for you, any similarities, differences? I mean, moving from one school to the other is the same, but it's very different.
I wouldn't say that there was. I guess really the only difference would be on my end of it. I would say I took a different approach. I took a little bit of time to step back and put things into perspective for myself, and I think I've done nothing but grow since then and kind of realized who I was as a player and the potential that is untapped within myself. So yeah, I'm just gonna be working and seeing how much I can really pull out of myself.
Emmitt, I'm sorry, one more. You've obviously been with Coach Huggins now for a number of years, you guys have built a good relationship. He's obviously at the point of his career now with each win or even each loss, meet some kind of milestone number now or some kind of milestone mark. Like losses, he obviously doesn't care about it, but I'm sure he reacts differently. 2 wins, 2 losses. You've been with him over the years. What's he been like? Getting to, I'm just going through the wins and losses with him.
Watch out, he's around the corner.
Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna word this right, okay? No, I'm kidding. I think every coach, gets upset with losses, and you get upset with the bad wins, and I don't think you really get satisfied unless you go blow out a team by 40. And I think the good thing about Hugs is he's never satisfied. I think as a team, we have so much to work on, and obviously he's going to look at it. Probably won't go to sleep tonight. He'll probably watch the game all night. That's usually what he does. But I think you got coach and player perspective. As a player, you don't get happy with these kind of wins as well. Like I said earlier, we got a lot to work on. So, we try to keep him happy. I don't think he's excited for this win, but I think if we go handle our business on Friday, he might be a little in a better mood. So, as for he's a legendary coach. We already know that. We got a bunch of wins under his belt. I don't think it's really about wins and losses anymore. I think he just wants us to go out there and play as hard as we can.